Hi, and welcome to another installment in our PTSD series. Today we're talking about PTSD in the brain, and we're going to go into a little bit more depth about how the brain works and how it's affected. There are two operating systems in the brain. There's the electromagnetic or electricity aspect of the brain, and then there's the chemical or neurotransmitter aspect of the brain. Today's video is about the electromagnetic aspect, how it's created, categorized, and how it's affected. So a brain cell is called a neuron, and neurons are specialized cells that come close together and transfer information. That information may be complex, like driving a car, which requires visual abilities, thinking and reasoning abilities, whether you should pull out, turn right, turn left, the physical abilities of actually physically driving a car. Or your brain can also do things like complicated problem solving, like what would be required if you were to fill out your taxes. Or it could be something as simple and automatic as breathing. But when neurons are activated, they create vibrations, and vibrations are measured in hertz. Hertz is simply a unit of measure, like inches and feet measure length. Hertz measure how many vibrations occur per second. Now, in the brain, hertz are grouped into frequency categories. The greater number of active regions and the greater activity that goes on within these regions equals a higher frequency. So, for example, in the low frequency categories, the lowest is delta, which is 0.524 hertz. And that's a very deep sleep that you're not even dreaming, you're so deeply asleep. The next stage, higher frequency, is theta, which is 4 to 7, and that's when you're in a REM or a dreaming kind of sleep state. Above that is alpha, which is 8 to 12. Now you're awake, but you're calm and you're alert. You get into beta, which is from 12 to 36 hertz, and you're alert and you're beginning problem-solving abilities, problem-solving tasks. The higher you get into beta frequencies, the more agitation, the faster your brain is going, making connections, bringing neurons together, transferring more and more information. When you get to gamma, which is 36 and above, now your brain is consolidating information, and it's also associated with higher forms of consciousness. So the higher the overall brain frequency, the greater the brain activity. The greater the brain activity that is unfocused, in other words, that doesn't have a problem to solve, the more agitation and anxiety you can experience. In PTSD, the brain gets stuck in these higher frequencies. There's a term that's associated with the ability to move fluidly from lower to higher frequencies throughout the day, throughout a 24-hour period, and it's called plasticity. So when the brain becomes aplastic or not plastic, then that means it's not able to do that very well. Well, if you're stuck in these high frequencies, you're stuck in anxiety, you have outbursts of anger. This is why people reach for addictive substances and behaviors, because first they're trying to express and deal with this anxiety. There's the hope that by experiencing something, the brain will be able to finally calm down. Now, the brain has really interesting abilities. First, it has the ability to rewire itself, which means that you can heal from this. It also can do something called entrain. Now, brain entrainment is the ability to change frequencies when it is exposed to certain stimulus. I mentioned that the neurons vibrate. Well, sound vibrates. So when neurons are exposed to sounds of lower frequency, then they will eventually vibrate at that lower frequency, and that is called brain entrainment, that the cells will change and match themselves to the frequency with which it is being exposed. Now, this is important because first what we do is we use sound, and with sound we can create an instant sense of calm within about 15 or 20 minutes because we bring your brain down into a calmer state. But the really interesting thing is the more we do that, the more often it occurs, the more we teach your brain to be plastic, to become fluid, to have the ability to go from sleep through the day, go up, to be able to think, to be able to reason, to come back down, to go back to sleep, to be able to be fluid. Next time we're going to talk about how we use sound, the bioresonance chair, and how it works. Catch you next time.